how's it going? My name is Shruti, and this is the first episode of the Ladakh series. I'm thinking of calling it Exploring Leh. I was on a solo trip in Ladakh, my first solo trip, in fact, and an unplanned one at that. You see, my travel partners had dropped out one by one before the trip, and since I had always wanted to go on a solo trip, well, here I was. Leh would usually be the first stop for most travelers who are visiting Ladakh. 2 days of acclimatization here is mandatory before you move on to higher altitudes. And Leh is an absolutely beautiful town to spend a few days in. There are a lot of things to do in and around Leh, which I'll get to in a bit. So here I was in Leh, but my main intention was to make travel arrangements for the rest of my Ladakh trip. I reached Ladakh yesterday from Bangalore. I took a connecting flight with a layover in Delhi and reached Leh sometime in the afternoon. So there's a taxi stand which is right outside the airport, and they have fixed rates depending on where you want to go. So it's quite easy to get a cab to reach your accommodation once you're in Leh. I'm staying at this really cute property. It's called Snowview. And since it's extremely important to acclimatize once you're in Leh, I did not step out of the property at all. I was just exploring the property. I was taking small walks around it, got some work done. And now that I'm all refreshed and hopefully a little bit acclimatized, I'm all set to go and explore Leh. The Leh market is the perfect place to visit as you acclimatize. Filled with nice cafes, eateries, and a lot of places to shop at, you can easily spend an entire morning here. And if you're looking to rent bikes or book tours for the rest of your Ladakh trip, you will find a lot of tourist agencies at the market. Since this is my third visit to Leh, I have kind of finished all the local sightseeing during my previous visits. So this time I'm planning to explore more locally, so to speak. So as I was saying before, there are a lot of places to visit in and around Leh as you spend your time here getting used to the altitude. Inside of Leh, you can visit the Leh Palace, which gives a beautiful view of the entire town. Head a little bit higher and spend time at the peaceful Namgyal Semo Monastery, which is perched over the town, and visit the Shanti Stupa for stunning panoramic views. As for sightseeing outside of but close to Leh, you can go on short trips by renting a bike or a cab. Though there are no self-drive options or car renting options available in Leh, shared cabs and private cabs are available to visit these places. A trip to Shea Palace, Thiksay Monastery, Hemis Monastery and Stoke Palace makes for a nice drive and offers stunning views at each of these places. You can also spend a day driving to Lamayuru, making stops at Alchi, Nemu, seeing the confluence of Zanskar and Indus rivers, passing by changing landscapes, and stopping by more such beautiful pit stops along the way. Well, let's go back to Leh now and continue with our local sightseeing. I've reached Baker Street. The smell of bread is fresh in the air. These are Kashmiri bakers here, and they prepare fresh bread in the clay ovens, and I've taken one to have with my evening chai. So my first stop is the old town of Leh, which is located just behind the main market. And if you're like me who loves to get to know a place by just exploring the streets, then Old Town is the place for you. The Old Town of Leh is steeped in history. With the imposing Leh Palace above it, Old Town was where the members of the royal court used to live. Walking around the narrow alleys will definitely take you back in time. And if you want to know more about the history and the unique culture of Ladakh, then you must make a stop at the Central Asian Museum. And that's how I ended my second day in Leh, with an interesting day of local exploration, including visiting the 9th century Gompa, which was located right behind Snowview. Though I was really happy that I could check out local sites which I had not seen during my previous visits, I was kind of stressing out about not having figured out how to get around Ladakh efficiently without spending a lot of money, and all within the 5 days I had kept aside for this. It's my last morning here in Leh before I head out to Nubra Valley tomorrow, And right now, I'm trying to figure out how to reach Nubra Valley. So I'm heading to Leh Market again. I'll check out a couple of tourist agencies, figure out what my options are. My plan was to visit Nubra Valley, see the hot springs at Panamik, and spend time by the sacred lake of Yarupso. I then wanted to spend a couple of days at Turtuk and finally head back to Leh through Warila Pass. Not a tall order at all, right? I've been pretty unsuccessful so far in trying to get a cab to Nubra. Unfortunately for me, there were not many shared cabs covering all of this. So I'm going to choose plan B and go with a private taxi. I hope it works out. Well, of course it's going to work out. I don't know why I'm so overdramatic at times. I was going to set out on an interesting and slightly offbeat journey through Ladakh alone, and I was absolutely looking forward to it.